I used to think, oh, society only works for the people who built it. No. Financial literacy. As soon as you learn how to keep up with inflation,
Yeah.
life is
And
great.
play the game.
Life is
play the
fucking
game.
grand. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, my money's still worth something.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Yeah.
great.
And oh wow, it's becoming worth more.
Ooh.
Pigs and bogs.
No, I'm the joke. That was it. It was a self-burn.
So, that's fair.
You gotta laugh. You gotta be able to laugh at it all, bro. Oh, hey guys! Welcome back to your future channel, Biggs and Boggs. I'm Marty Boggs.
And I'm Julian Biggs.
And we got Spencer on Town Screens. Thanks for joining us today, folks. We like to come at you once a week or so and talk about this transitioning world of finance and go over some subjects that we do believe will benefit your future hand, simply because it's benefited ours. So do us a favor, folks. We believe we're here to help. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Comment down below. Let us know where you're from and what you think. Let's get right into it. What are we up to today and how can we plan for tomorrow? Julian.
Do the things. Today, we are going to recap last week. We are perfectly playing out the flag that we brought attention to.
Ding.
Bitcoin, I got you this time. Super cycle, is it possible? We're still on that. Not many notes. Let's just get into the market scope.
Oh, shit.
Let's get into it. Recap.
Market
coming into the end of the year. Okay. Again, I'm zoomed out. We're on the weekly chart here, zoomed out. You can see the flag pattern that I drew in last week. You know what? Marty keeps telling me to use the brush. We can use the brush. Here's the flag pattern I drew. We're in the progressive channel here over 10
I can
years.
look up at the screen now.
Let's get zoomed.
I was like, fuck, I can't see. The lights are blinding me, but I can look up at the screen. That's a beauty. Well done.
You know, these...
Hey, DCA into the studio.
Actually, yeah, I can look at that.
We're DCAing into the studio. Looks good.
Yeah, we got a new... Yeah,
Looks
DCAing
good.
into the studio. We got a new screen. Let's see if I can...
Yeah.
This is supposed to help me draw my eyes towards the camera, but it's still a little distracting. Let me just look at the computer here for a second.
The new lights are a little
okay.
gnarly,
So
I
here
must
we
say.
are.
We'll have to
Here we are
reposition.
in this flag, and this is the weekly. You can see us, bing, bang, boom. We're going from the top to the bottom of this flag. This is the one we drew out in last week's episode. We're coming into 2 years here of your future hand, making bang on calls throughout.
Yeah,
So we've
2
got
years.
a few lines drawn here. Let's get the brush again. So this is going to be the resistance line. This one goes back all the way into the 2017, 2018 bull run. And we caught it as support a few times. You can see that right now it's been acting as resistance. But we are now pinched between the bull run.
Isn't that crazy, eh? 5 years ago compared to 3 years ago.
Right.
All apexing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
insane.
a lot of things are coming to an apex now. So here's the peak of the 2018 bull run, okay? So we got the peak of the 2018 bull run back here. This is what's creating this resistance line. It acted as support through the previous bull run.
Brush it. I can't see. You got to brush it.
Oh, we got to brush it. Okay, so brush it. Okay, so
there you go.
So here we go. So here's the top. Here's the top of the 2018 bull run. And then the breakout of the 2020 and 2021 and retest before the 64K and then the 69K top up here, right? So you can see it acted as support, and that was the major run. So whatever that was, 28 or 29.8, something like that, before it went to 69K, right? And then again acted as support before we crashed and had the FTX debacle and all that crap, right? So you can see that's where we're at now. That's the resistance. And then this other red line was the support through those runs. So after 2018, we came down here and caught that red line as support.
Okay, settle down, Bob Ross.
Oh, now we're getting the painting. But no, here's actually a perfect example of the wick below that we were talking about. And which is what we're going to see. We think we're going to see to the upside now. So if we if we look at that, that's the perfect example. Before the next bull run there was these major wick below this line. So we had the support and then the major giant wicks below,
which was the crash of 2020.
Yep. And
so that was a major manipulation. That's just right.
But
major.
it's not even major manipulation. This is the cycles that we need to draw attention to. These are the cycles that we need to get used to.
Yes.
This is how it works. It's
been
not
going on since longer than we've been alive.
This is just how it works.
Yeah.
It's always done this in the stocks market. It's done this in oil. It's done this in gold. It's
everything.
This is just how it works.
Yeah.
Right.
It's human psychology, right? As long as humans have been around, this is how this has been going.
Yeah. So here's the support line. Let's get right zoomed in.
I was about to get fired up on that one, but
Well,
continue.
Get fired up.
No, continue.
Let's get zoomed in. So you can see we're playing this flag. So I drew this flag out last week. We can actually move this point to the new top that we have. And you can see we talked about going above this resistance line, this red resistance line, and seeing a high wick, before crashing and coming down to reset the indicator. So the one thing that we need to be aware of right now is that, okay, everyone thinks it's going to keep running, but we're maxing out indicators.
That's
right
just
now,
it too. Everybody's hyped.
So here's
go all in. And Jim Cramer just said buy Bitcoin. Like, he didn't actually say that. Actually, it's been twisted, but he said if you like Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin.
Yeah,
because somebody asked him
and so
about
here's the weekly RSI. So this is the first time since the last bull run that we've been above 70% RSI, which is technically in the overbought territory, right? But also, you got to understand that it's always going to break out. It's always going to break out of the 70%, retest, which is what happened right here. Doesn't look exact, right? They're kind of lagged indicators. Retest, and now it's broken out. So we want to see one more peak. This to me looks
right, because we'll see a bearish divergence. It will start to go down, but we still see one more whammy.
But this here, that's super healthy. This coming into here really curved and not just seeing a major spike immediately is a good thing. That means it will continue before it collapses. But if we have the halving coming in April, this thing has to reset. The indicators have to reset before we hit the real bull run. Great.
You know
we
what?
had a nice recovery in 2023.
Yeah. I want to say you're right, but it's like at the same time, Bitcoin doesn't care.
No, it doesn't. But
it could go to the fucking. It could just go right. Like it all depends on macro things, right? We have countries
because there's not enough to buy. There's not enough to buy. And to systematically
that would make the price go up.
To systematically buy everything that's available, you would have to have governments around the world teaming together to scoop up all the Bitcoin. So people wonder what are the risks of Bitcoin? Can the government gain control of it? Okay, so what does that mean? That means they would have to have 51% of what's available.
Yeah.
Right? In order to do that, do you know how much they would have to buy and how much they would have to buy every hour as it became available?
To not change the price, though? Like, because if like that's what whales do. They'll scoop up a bunch of small bags all day long.
No, but I'm
so
just saying, if they
wanted
to, but it wouldn't matter, because if they were just taking control, they jack the price up. As long as they have the majority shares, it doesn't matter. They control the market.
It's beneficial to them,
right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the amount of people that it would take across the globe to do that is insane. Like, there's just no way that, like, the probability of that happening, the possibility of that happening is so slim. But that's the only way that Bitcoin can be actually taken over, is if global governments, like all around the world, all pulled together and had thousands of traders everywhere at all times buying up every fucking bit
as much as they could.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's also so many just civilians that will do the same thing and have the same attitude, right? So it's like people are DCAing like crazy right now because they see the world reserve, current world reserve currency failing.
And you'll see
what's next,
you'll see
right?
the few larger governments are starting to get in and collect as much as they can.
Well, and also the little governments, like the little countries, are getting in, like Argentina and stuff like that.
It's beneficial to them. But
exactly, right?
But
why is it beneficial to them? Because they've overinflated their dollar and they have to either rely on the United States dollar or Bitcoin, and they're choosing Bitcoin. Right. And we're seeing this happening with multiple countries that are like, okay, and that thing that I shared the other day that you said you didn't, even I don't get this. All I was referring to was that was Turkey's stock market compared to their dollar and our stock market.
It's not that I didn't understand it.
No, I know. But I know. Well, without saying anything and just sharing a bunch of chart pictures, it's kind of hard. But but what I was showing was the Turkish dollar stock market and the United States dollar S&P 500, and basically since 2000 they looked identical. Like, even the numbers were almost the same, but reportedly on Google, when you ask for the numbers, they are on the brink of hyperinflation, 60 plus 70 plus %, yet they are only still reporting North America to be around 9% at worst. So that's just obvious that that's not the case.
Right. And if they're telling us 9%, like, and we go by the U.S. economy because it kind of steers,
Global.
Yeah, exactly.
Global affairs.
So if they tell us 9.1% for 2022, then it's more like 15%, 18%.
We'll just go to the grocery store, right? And just look at the things that you have been buying for the last 5 years and say, and remember, try and not be a goldfish. Right. And remember, how much was this when I bought it 2-3 years ago? Right. And just do it for yourself. You don't need somebody to tell you these kind of numbers. It's in the gas prices. It's in the food prices. It's in all the things that you live your daily life with.
Gas is a sham. That's a sham. Diamonds are a sham. Gas is a sham. Gold's
There's no such thing as premium anymore.
It's a sham.
It's that, and you know what makes me think there was never anything such. You know what's funny? I only ever see one truck go to the gas station, but yet there's 3 available.
By charging us $2 a liter for fuel here, like that's
if you
because
you know why? But yes, there is a reason for that, because there is people out there that want to pay more because they feel better about paying more because they think they're rich. Because they pay more.
Fuck's sake.
You got to live beneath your means, invest the rest, and really get rich. Stop buying Gucci bullshit and pretending to be rich. You're just a face.
Dial it back into the chart here for a second. So we're zoomed
walk the walk.
Now we're zoomed into the daily chart here. And we're inside this flag that I drew out last week. And let's actually I like to just move that to the last peak that we had. So this,
and that looks even more bearish.
Yeah. Like I said, this is more of a bearish pennant than it is a bullish flag. This is a bearish pennant.
Absolutely.
This is, if we're going to look at the patterns, this is what I would call a
even
bearish
just in
pennant.
Configuration with what's going on in the news. Oh man!
So you can see
AF, man.
Here's our first wick out. We were talking about getting wicks above this red line of resistance here. We're talking about
she's going to bull trap. She's going to bull trap hard.
So you can see that now that we have this peak here, this pattern, this flag pattern or bearish pennant pattern, if you want to call it that, exceeds the red line of resistance, which was the support of 2021 before the 69K top. Now, this is all coming together in the apexes. So with this green line...
This is insane, man. This is insane.
It's insane.
It's
really
insane.
Is.
It's nuts.
This is the nuts.
It's crazy, man.
Anyway, so it's all coming together. So we have
crazy.
3 apexes. We have 3 of these apexes, and of course they're a little bit off because fractal patterns. You know what? Actually, if you watch the pi pattern actually go, it's slightly off. That's
it's 3.14, right? It's not 3.
Exactly.
If it was 3, it would.
So
anyway,
this is exactly, and this is shows it here. Yeah. It's not perfect, but it's the sequence.
But even the fact that it's that close, we're talking like a 5-year span here, and all
this
these
is
lines
over a
line
10-year span.
Okay, yeah, sorry. There you go, a decade. There's a decade right there. We're coming to the apex of a decade right now.
Right. So, anyways,
there will be an S curve in Bitcoin overall. You know, when it comes down to it, there will.
And it's a logarithmic pattern. So that's why the fractals of these triangles. So people need to understand, in order for anything to have become designed, you have a single point energy. Okay, single point energy goes to second point energy, third point energy, and then reconnects. Okay?
Yeah.
That's basically how everything starts. And then they can create circles, they can create flower patterns, they can create whatever. But single point energy, the first basic shape of all geometry is a fucking triangle, and that's it, right? So sure, this is a logarithmic pattern, but we're going to find these pivot points every so often in the charts based on single point transportation.
So what if
go ahead.
What if we have a halving that actually has the opposite effect because of the overhype? You know what I mean? Like we're now on our 4th.
But the thing is,
the
thing is, Bitcoin is designed that way. So as many people want to think that it could do this and it could do that, it could whatever. Satoshi fucking thought of it.
But human psychology gets over-leveraged.
But you can't buy up all the Bitcoin. You can't just buy up all the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's going to print for another 100 years, 107 years. You can't buy up all the Bitcoin. You can't. You could maybe buy up what's accessible today. But again, like I said, that takes organization between global governments of massive money. You can't do it. And think about it. It's only been here for 10 years.
It's so secure.
And compared to, look at the value of the S&P 500. Okay, so the S&P 500 is the New York Stock Exchange. It's where everybody makes all the money. It's where dreams happen. It's where the American fucking dream is. It's worth $5,000. It's worth $5,000. $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitcoin's been here 10 years. It's worth $38,000.
And then you have something like Berkshire Hathaway worth five.
Oh, excuse me. I feel like Leslie Nielsen.
Worth half.
Did you hear the starter pistol?
It's like Well, I mean, it has to do with supply, right? That's what it all comes down to. But
Yeah.
it's just so funny, too. I was showing Kayla this morning. I was like, look at Berkshire Hathaway. Like, what the hell? S&P 500, Tesla, Apple, all these other things that people hear about and talk about all the time. Nobody talks about Berkshire Hathaway. Nobody has any idea what I'm talking about right now.
So the internet's got 5 billion users. Crypto's got 450 million. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're nowhere, right? So right now, it doesn't matter what you want to invest in. You might not believe in Bitcoin or crypto. It doesn't matter. Right now, we're at the end of it. Hang on. But we're at the end of a 10-year cycle.
Yeah.
You could fucking buy anything right now and make money in the next 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
You could buy anything.
You know
could
what's
buy
funny?
Apple. You could buy Rogers. You
Yeah.
could buy Coca-Cola. You
Get
could
your money out of cash, right?
You could buy whatever you want right now, and even at these prices, you could buy whatever the fuck you want. We might crash a little bit more, but guess what?
That's why we DCA.
The next 2 years, we're going green.
Oh yeah,
41%. So we're in Canada. 41% of Canadian mortgages at the Royal Bank of Canada are due for renewal.
They can't.
We've been able to calm inflation by 4% over the last year. They're telling you more pain is coming, but we've actually corrected inflation. We've brought it down by increasing all these mortgage rates over the last year and screwing Canadians now. Right?
Plus we have elections.
Coming.
In the United States and Canada.
I promise you, and okay, so I was a little bit off. I did think there was going to be one more rate hike. And you know what? Maybe in December, they actually do the rate hike. And that's what sends the crash. So we see a spike. One more
that would make
rate
sense.
hike.
Yeah.
That's what causes
a
the
surprise
crash.
hike.
It's
a surprise hike.
We got to reset the indicators. But if 40% of Canadians' mortgages are up in 2024, we have to start lowering rates.
Yeah, or no one's going to be buying. There's going to be no buyers, right?
But people won't even be able to remortgage.
Well, that's just it. But the way the market works is there has to be a buyer for every seller.
As soon as rates let off, the thing is like, oh, well, nobody has any money to invest. Well, guess what? The people who have kept up with inflation, the people who understand the things we're trying to tell you now, the people who have understood
that's what I say to my
the people who have understood it already
we're
for 10 years.
We're just going to be able to maintain the way of life. It doesn't matter.
Because as soon as the debt rate of interest comes down, they're going to borrow money to buy more shit.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
And they're still buying now, They're still buying up the houses now.
Oh, yeah.
You can't rent them. They're all short-term rentals now.
Yeah.
Good for them.
And nobody can afford to buy a house just to live in. So, and the thing is, too, is also the investors aren't paying attention. But I think that's kind of funny, too. And you made me think of something. So a guy the other day asked me, hey, is that place like over there have good coffee? I'm like, I don't drink coffee. Like, I'm not a. I'm like, what I told him, I was like, dude, you're the wrong guy to ask. I don't drink coffee. But then, like 5-10 minutes later, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, shit, I should have sent him to Starbucks. I own Starbucks shares. Like, that's the way that I stopped putting my. I made an error and I put my opinion first.
Is Serious Coffee publicly traded?
I don't know.
Because they're Canadian shares. They're from Cowichan.
Oh, okay.
Like, well, I'm just saying fuck Starbucks. I'm basically just saying
Starbucks.
Starbucks
has a Canadian. Starbucks has Canadian branch. Either way, but the thing is like I don't care. I know coffee's terrible. I think coffee's terrible, man. It's a drug. It doesn't matter
what your opinion is.
You watch exactly. My personal opinion on that shit is you watch people line up out the door every single day, 24 hours to get that shit. It's clearly a drug. It's clear that people are addicted to it. It is a legal drug, and the corporations will feed it to you as long as you continue to buy, and you will because it's addictive. I think that shit is absolutely terrible. I haven't drank coffee in over 10 years. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. But guess what? It makes money. I own Starbucks shares. And every time you go to Starbucks, I get paid. So I don't give a shit. Drink all the coffee you want.
So,
right? That's the way the world works. It's not my opinion. It's not your opinion. Julie, nobody's opinion matters if it's all about what's your desired outcome.
We say this a lot. And
and
I do stand by this whole no one's opinion matters thing. I do stand by that because no one's opinion really does matter.
Like depending on your desired outcome.
Now,
that's all it is.
The only opinion that I'm going to tell you that does matter is your opinion of yourself.
Yeah.
For real.
That's fair. That's it.
That's it.
We're getting deep.
Yeah. No. And you take care of yourself. You take care of your body. That's it.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because people are always like, oh, live every day like it's going to be your last. You know what? If I knew tomorrow was going to be my last day, like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, I'm already satisfied too. And the reason I have that is because I'm thinking about myself, because I'm thinking about my family. I know that people's addictions is going to feed my family.
What if you were to live forever?
Oh my fuck, Jesus. Well, you know what?
Would you sit on your ass and make yourself lazy and fat?
And you knew you were going to live forever.
But if you know death is coming, it's like, it doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Death is coming. We all die anyway. So
exactly.
What the fuck?
Well, we're here for the experience. That's what it's all about.
If you lived every day like you were going to live forever, you would have no choice but to just better yourself. Because if you're going to witness everything that happens along the way, I want to be the best me that I can possibly be.
And also,
you know what I mean?
at some point, you're going to get the feeling that you're going to have to teach and help everybody else around you. Givers gain. Hashtag givers gain.
Cease to exist. Cease to exist now, or never cease to exist as you are now.
Yeah.
Do you have changes to make? You know what I mean?
Within yourself? Do you have anxiety when you smoke weed?
Yeah, you might be a piece of shit.
Yo, you might have some things to change in your life. That's all it is. We smoked weed before the show, and we're fine.
I feel great.
Okay, hey, love you guys.
Probably because I've been buying Bitcoin.
Yeah, and that's just it, too. Actually, that is totally it, too, because watching the green, just watching the Bitcoin up in the green, like, that feels really good.
If you're keeping up with inflation,
yes, exactly.
Nothing seems wrong. So I used to think, society only works for the people who built it. No. Financial literacy. As soon as you learn how to keep up with inflation, life is
and
great.
play the game.
Life is
play the game.
Grand. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, my money's still worth something.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
And oh wow, it's becoming worth more.
Ooh.
And it doesn't cost me more at the grogrocery store. I just have to exchange.
What's that guy's name?
Oh, Otis McDonald.
Otis McDonald.
It goes. Should I buy Bitcoin or should I go broke? The course in that tune.
Not poor, just broke.
Yeah,
buy Bitcoin.
just go broke. Yeah. With that being said, can't really top that. So love you guys. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Comment down below if you're still here. Let us know where you're from. Let us know what you think.
DCA and look away.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Biggs and Mogs out. Peace.
Biggs and Bogs.
Oh shit.
SM7B. Whatever. I'm up in Bitcoin, bro. It's all good. I'll buy another one.